everybody, welcome to My Good Life, and my name is Uzma. Last week, as you know, I didn't post a video because I took a spontaneous holiday, and I thought, since people aren't around, as you know, in the last few videos, I haven't been doing any interviews, but rather showcasing what I do and how I take those experiences and share my reflective thoughts. Well, I thought, why not do the same with this week's break that I took? So I'm back now, having been away for a week. And as I was sitting here editing, I thought to myself, well, I'm going to show you my musings as I edit, rather than I usually do, which is at the end. So let's just go ahead and do this.
We decided to go to Bordeaux, mainly because it was an easy flight out and cheap to get to, and we'd never been there before really. The great advantage was we got there really early. Getting on an early flight meant we could spend the day walking the medieval streets of Bordeaux and soaking in the atmosphere and the great weather. If you're not purposely seeking this church, it really comes as quite a surprise when you walk into the small square where it's located. This highly decorated Baroque front just kind of seems to tower in front of you and dominate the whole area. Inside is quite a different story, and it's quite a contrast. It's not as decorated, but it is very stylish. Strong arches kind of lead to the chapel, and some large paintings are behind the altar. It's vast and so different from the outside that it takes your breath away. And here we are in the main square, which is really vast, and right in the center is the statue of Jacques Delmas, who happened to be the mayor of Bordeaux from 1947 to 95, and also the prime minister from 69 to 1972. At the heart of it lies this basilica. This is the Basilica Saint Michael. It's a Gothic flamboyant structure that's just wonderful inside and outside. It's got these fantastic stained glass that just stream the light through in all these different shades and colors. But the beauty of this basilica lies in the vastness of it, the way it makes you feel. It was built between the 14th and 16th century, and you can't help yourself but be in awe of the people who built it and how calming it makes you feel. So we then walked around the streets of the medieval part of Bordeaux and came upon the Porte de Bourgogne, which is one of the main gateways into Bordeaux Old City. It sits majestically bang right in the middle of a roundabout and all the hustle and bustle around it. It's vast, and I was so grateful to stand underneath it because it was so hot that day and I just needed shade, but it is wonderful to just look at. By now we were pretty hungry and we knew we couldn't get into our hotel till 3 o'clock, so here I am just feeling so tired, wanting to replenish myself. And we walked towards the Grosse Cloche, which is this 18th century bell tower. As I had read, there was a fantastic coffee and patisserie place there called Books and Coffee. And we had this fantastic cake and coffee. Okay, so you're probably wondering where we stayed. Here it is, Maison Fredon, which is situated in the historic part of Bordeaux. We stayed in what they call the Green Suite, a room up in the attic of this old building. And each room has a quirkiness. Ours happens to be crystal and a furry orange beam. The stairway up to the room is small, and each door has a paint color on it, which signifies what color that room is going to be. So you just saw red one, and that's probably red inside. I mean, I didn't get to see it. It just had these lovely features. Loved it. So we decided breakfast would always be French oriented, and I looked online and found this old bakery in Bordeaux. Honestly, if you have ever been to Bordeaux or are planning to go to Bordeaux, and there's one thing you must do, it's go to this bakery. The croissants, the food, the scent, smells, fantastic. You won't regret it. It actually is a little bit further away from the old part of Bordeaux, but well worth the 10 extra minutes. Here, the guy was showing us where they bake all this fantastic stuff, and it's in this old kind of 26-foot oven that was built in 1765. Brilliant. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Just loved being there, and if I lived in Bordeaux, I would go there every day. Once we got our coffee and croissant, we decided to go and sit by the riverfront and enjoy people watching and balmy weather. We were going to go off and see the sights, but using the local public transport, which is the trams, and it's really easy to get around. The Cité du Vin, the building, is shaped like the roundness of wine. That's what it signifies. It's great inside. It's got a lot of information about the cultivation, the history of wine across the world, not just Bordeaux. So it's a great place if you want to have a little bit more knowledge, or already have some knowledge and want to add some speciality to it. The top floor is also a viewing gallery, and there's a restaurant there as well. We then decided to come back to the main part, and opposite the Place de Bourse is the Mirror d'Or, which is really a reflective mirror, water coming from a huge granite slab. It's a great place to stand and cool down, and children love it. There was a lot of hustle and bustle around there, and just to take a breather of the city. Just before lunch, we decided to go to the Museum of Contemporary Art. And what's interesting is this used to be a real warehouse of colonial goods. It was a custom warehouse, and really is a superb example of kind of pre-industrial construction from the 19th century. But when you walk through it, it's like you're walking through a basilica with arches and naves. So we were pretty peckish and stopped for a light lunch on one of the kind of cafes. Now I can't end this video without sharing one of the other fabulous places in Bordeaux, which are the market centres. This one was Marché des Capucins, and we did visit quite a few markets in Bordeaux that sold local produce, and I always found them to be in the heart of communities, which makes it all that special. Getting up early, walking through the markets as the shop people are just setting up, smelling that fruit and looking at those vegetables, the flowers, it's just so intoxicating. And I just love the atmosphere that was there. The weather helps as well. The fact that the fruit and veggies look so good. is because of the weather. I just loved walking around that and sitting around, having a coffee, watching the world go by, watching communities haggle and go about their day. It's a great place.
Okay, I think I have got the first draft ready to go soon. I'll just make some tweaks. It was interesting doing the editing as I was musing, because it made me reflect on what a lovely time I had over those 2 days. Sometimes you forget, sometimes you forget how lovely the weather was, or how lovely the market was, and the smell. By watching that video, suddenly that intoxicating smell of the vegetable market came to me. And being in those basilicas, I just felt the vastness of it. It's nice keeping videos, having photos as you go on holiday, because when you then browse through them when you're back, it just sends a lovely feeling to me about what a great time I had, and I shouldn't forget those moments, and I shouldn't forget those feelings and what it gave to me. So with that, I will give you the second episode of this next week. Until next time, everybody, goodbye.